Today we are going to discuss a chemistry chapter from class 7th NCERT, that is acid, bases and salt. So what are acid? Acid are those substances which on reaction with water has the ability to produce H plus ions, whereas the bases are those substances which have the ability to produce OH minus ions on reaction with water. Salt are those which are the combination of acid and bases. So when an acid reacts with a base, it will produce salt, water and some amount of heat energy because it is an exothermic reaction. So now if we observe, there is a table, that is lemon juice, orange juice, all these have been given. So in case of these substances given is being acid, then it is having a sour taste, whereas the bases will have a bitter taste. So if we write about lemon juice, orange juice, vinegar, curd, tamarind, all these will come under sour taste. Whereas the sugar is having sweetness, common salt is again is said to be a kind of sour, like amla is again having acid sour, whereas the baking soda is bitter. Why? Because it has base. The grapes are sour, unripe mango is sour, the cucumber is kind of neutral, right? Now we'll move to the acid, bases and salt concept. That is acids like curd, lemon, sugar, orange juice, all these taste sour. These have some kind of chemical substance known as acid. So the word acid comes from the Latin word acre, which means sour. So the acids in these substances are said to be natural acids because they are naturally found in the environment. So it tastes in sour like substance. So whereas the bases are said to be bitter in taste, and these those are soapy to touch or slippery to touch. The next concept is of the indicators, where indicators are those substances which help us to find whether a given substance is acidic or basic on based on the pH. So if we take the pH indication scale, it is a universal scale. It is marked from 0 to 14, where the 7 is said to be neutral, less than 7 is said to be, that is 1 to 7 is said to be acidic in nature, whereas the substance having pH more than greater than 7, that is 7 to 14, is said to be basic in nature. So now if we observe here, there is another table to name of the acid is given, where it is found. That is in vinegar there is presence of acetic acid, whereas in case of an antisting there is presence of formic acid. Citrus fruits such as oranges, lemons will contain vitamin C, that is said to be citric acid, and the curd is having lactic acid. It has a lactic acid bacteria or lactobacillus which produce this lactic acid that help in the conversion of milk to curd. Then spinach contains oxalic acid. Other citrus fruit contains vitamin C, that is ascorbic acid. Then tamarind contains tartaric acid. So all these taste sour in taste also. So these are acidic in nature with pH less than 7. Whereas if we say bases that occur in nature, that are examples given as window cleaner, soap, all these are synthetic too, mentioned here. Lime water and milk of magnesia, where this milk of magnesia is highly used as the antacid for treating the acidity problems of humans. Say for example, in the human stomach there is HCl acid. So when there is more production of this HCl acid, there is an acidic environment created in the stomach, inside the stomach. So this should be cleared or neutralized with the help of a base. It is said to be milk of magnesia, MgOH twice. The base is being used to neutralize the acidic nature of the stomach. Then comes the natural indicators that is around us. The litmus is a natural indicator. You can see the litmus paper. There is blue litmus paper and red litmus paper available in the market. So it is taken from the lichens. Next, here we are going to see an activity where we can prepare a greeting card with the help of a soap solution and turmeric paste. So where the turmeric paste, which is yellow in color, will change to reddish in color when reacted with the soap solution. The chemistry behind this is that the soap solution is kindly of NaOH, which is basic in nature. When reacted with the natural indicator turmeric, will turn to reddish in color. So this color change can be used for the decorative purposes too. Whereas the turmeric will remain unchanged, that is same, it remains the same yellow color in the presence of acids, but it will react in the base. So you can see how to test a solution. So if we see lemon juice, orange juice, vinegar, all these three contains acid in them. So the color effect on turmeric solution is that it will remain the same in the yellow color. Whereas milk of magnesia, baking soda, lime water, all these are basic in nature. So there will be color change of the turmeric into reddish in color. Next. So now we are going to see, are you familiar with the term acid rain? So there is a concept called as acid rain through which the monuments have been erupted. As we all know, there is a famous monument, the seven wonders of the world. The Taj Mahal is being erupted, or it's becoming yellowish in color day by day due to the acid rain. So it is due to the presence of sulfuric acid and nitric acid. These kind of oxides, sulfur and nitrogen from the atmosphere, they mix up with the water in the environment or the atmospheric moisture, that they form a cloud and they finally rain up. So this particular acid rain is responsible for the damaging of the skin and killing of various plants and animals. They destroy various living organisms, along they destroy the monuments too. Now we are going to see the important process called as neutralization. Neutralization is the process where the acid is going to react with a base to produce salt, water and heat. So here you can see, that is, there are activities given to be demonstrated by the teacher in the class. The students will be the observer, the teacher is going to be the experimenter or the active participant here. So if we see, fill 1/4 of the test tube with dilute hydrochloric acid. So we are using HCl here, that is acidic in nature, highly acidic in nature, it is a strong acid. So color of that was being noted down. Next we are going to add phenolphthalein, again which is going to be an indicator. The phenolphthalein is an indicator. 2 to 3 drops of indicator to the solution. Now if we gently shake, what is the color change you are going to observe? So if we see, the phenolphthalein, while reaction with the acid, doesn't show any color change, it is colorless. Whereas if you add some base to the solution, like sodium hydroxide NaOH, then it will change to pink in color. So the phenolphthalein indicator will change its color to pink only in the presence of base. It remains colorless in the presence of acid, just like the turmeric case. And turmeric also, only the presence of base, the turmeric will change to red color. Otherwise it remains the same color, that is yellow color. Similarly, phenolphthalein also changes its color to pink only when it is reacted with a base. So in reaction with acid, it remains colorless. So when acidic solution is mixed with basic solution, both the solution will neutralize the effect. Thus they will form a kind of salt. If the acid you are using is a strong acid, then the salt formed will be acidic in nature, then it is called as acidic salt. Whereas if you are using a strong base, then the salt formed will be basic salt. While if you are using both weak acid and weak base, the salt will be neutral salt. Also, if in the case of strong acid and strong base combination also, the salt is going to be the neutral salt. So neutralization is happening in the everyday life, like for example the digestion processes. We can see sometimes there is a indigestion occurring in the human body, like constipation or some problem, where the HCl acid is produced in the stomach in the higher amount. In such cases, while the acidic nature of the stomach is high, it is said to be acidity. So to neutralize this effect, we use a kind, or we take a medicine called as antacid. These are basic in nature. For example, MgOH twice, that is the milk of magnesia, has been taken means, so the acidic nature of the stomach can be neutralized. So this is one of the example. The second one is ant bite. So when an ant or a bee stings, it produces an acid called as formic acid. So when this acidic liquid formic acid is dangerous for our skin. So in order to neutralize that particular effect of the acidic formic acid, we need to rub up the sodium hydrogen carbonate, NaHCO3. So this sodium hydrogen carbonate is highly necessary. It is also called as sodium bicarbonate. It is highly necessary for the neutralization process of the acidic effect of formic acid. Then soil treatment. We know that in case of the plants, they do not grow well in the more acidic nature or basic nature. So we need to neutralize that. Sometimes when the soil contains more acid, so we will be spraying of the basic components. When the soil is more basic in nature, we need to neutralize it by addition of some acidic components. Like that, we need to neutralize that. Also the factory waste which are being containing acid, This will kill the fish by the process of DDT. Say for example, dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethene is a factory waste. So through the process of eutrophication, that is the process of biomagnification, the biological oxygen demand in the water is being increased, so that the fishes or the other aquatic plants and other aquatic living organisms dies due to the high oxygen demand. So in such cases, we need to use some kind of neutralizing effects. We will add some basic substances to the water in order to purify the water. So what we have learned today is that acids are sour in taste, generally bases are soapy to touch, and they are bitter in taste. Acids are those which produces H plus ions when reacting with water, while bases will react with water to produce OH minus ions. Then acid will turn the blue litmus to red, bases will turn the red litmus to blue. So this litmus is required for the indicative purposes. Then to identify whether a substance is acid or base, we need to use this turmeric, phenolphthalein, litmus. So all these are called as indicators. Then some substances are neither acidic or basic, hence they are said to be neutral. Just for example, if you take plain water, water is an example for neutral. It is a universal solvent. Water is said to be universal solvent. It is neither acidic nor basic. It is having the pH 7. So this was all we discussed, and there is an important equation which we discussed, that is acid when reaction with a base will produce salt plus water and some amount of heat. This process is called as neutralization reaction, and this neutralization process, that is the combination of acid base producing a salt and water, is being used in our daily life, like for the acidity, for treating the acidity, for treating the ant bite, and for soil treatment, and for treatment of the factory waste. So this was about today's chapter. We discussed it completely.